fear is not real in the sense most believe it to be. It is not a force outside you. It is a product of your own mind, a shadow born in thought, magnified by imagination, and maintained through inaction. You were not born with fear. A child touches fire only once. He learns through experience, but real fear enters only when the imagination is used against the self. The Akri was in its origin a Devophilian system, says. The truth is, fear was taught to you, and anything that can be learned can be unlearned. The first step to destroying fear forever is to recognize it for what it is. A liar, a thief, a parasite living in the attic of your mind. It whispers what if and convinces you to retreat. But the moment you act, fear starts to die. Action, more than knowledge, more than logic, is the antidote. When you move boldly in the direction of the thing you fear, you take away its only weapon, hesitation. You must identify the fear with precision. Call it out by name. Is it fear of failure? The vacant of fear becomes powerless when it is defined. Once it has a name, you can confront it directly. Clarity dissolves confusion, and confusion is fear's favorite hiding place. No mind can entertain fear and faith at the same time. One will always overpower the other. Choose which one dominates your thinking. Feed faith through repetition, through bold speech, through visualizing your triumph, until it burns hotter than doubt. Speak to yourself with commanding authority. Tell your subconscious what you believe even before your senses agree, and watch your mind be reshaped. Consider this: most fears are illusions. They are not rooted in present reality, but in imagined outcomes that have not, and often never will, occur. Ask yourself, what's the absolute worst that could happen? Then look at it clearly, prepare for it if needed, and move forward anyway. When you realize the worst is survivable, you unlock a dangerous kind of freedom. Fear thrives when it is avoided. Like a bully, it grows stronger the more you run. But when you expose yourself to it again and again, the illusion fades. You no longer tremble in its presence. You grow, you expand, and in time, you stand where fear once stood. Behind every fear is a treasure, a gift of growth, strength, and self-respect that cannot be bought and earned through courage. Don't avoid fear. Chase it, because once you defeat it, you gain everything it was guarding. Remember this. Fear is not something to tolerate or manage. It is something to dominate. And when you do, you will not just destroy fear, you will become unstoppable. Fear is often viewed as an external force, something that takes control of us when we are faced with danger or uncertainty. But the truth is, fear is nothing more than a creation of the mind. It is an emotional response triggered by thoughts about potential dangers or negative outcomes that have not even occurred. Fear thrives in our imagination, magnifying the smallest uncertainties into towering obstacles. What we fail to realize is that we have the power to control these thoughts. Just as we can choose to think positively or negatively, we can also choose to dismiss fear and replace it with confidence and courage. The moment we recognize that fear is merely a state of mind, something that exists only because we allow it, any fear we can take back control. We are not prisoners to it unless we choose to be. By training our minds to focus on solutions, opportunities, and our capabilities, we can diminish fear's hold over us. Fear, in essence, loses its power when we take the reins of our own thoughts and decide to act in spite of it. Fear is not an inherent part of who we are as human beings. It is something we learn over time. As children, we are naturally curious, adventurous, and unafraid to explore the world around us. The instinct to fear does not come naturally, but rather it is taught to us by our experiences, Quran, or by work experiences, our environment, and the people around us. When a child touches something hot and feels pain, they learn to fear the sensation of heat, but that fear is a learned response to a specific event. Similarly, as we grow, we are exposed to societal expectations, warnings, and negative outcomes, which begin to shape our perceptions of what is dangerous or threatening. These learned fears can stem from observing others, observing the anxieties of those around us. The distorting in design is disam, and is going empirical on the ideas, or internalizing past disappointments and failures. In many cases, fear becomes a learned habit, a pattern of thinking that holds us back from pursuing new opportunities or taking risks. The truth as fear is not an automatic or inherent response state, as a conditioned reconstruction. This means that just as we learned fear, we can also unlearn it. We have the power to break the chains of past conditioning and choose to live courageously, understanding that fear is not part of our natural state, but rather a product of our thoughts and experiences. Action is the most powerful antidote to fear. Fear thrives in the absence of movement, in the hesitation and doubt that come when we are unsure about the next step or the outcome. When we remain stagnant, fear gains strength and magnifies the obstacles in our minds. However, the moment we take action, regardless of how small it may seem, we disrupt the cycle of fear. Action forces us to step out of the realm of speculation and into reality. It shows us that what we imagine to be a threat is often far less intimidating when we face it head-on. Even if the outcome is not perfect or the path is unclear, the simple act of moving forward builds momentum and confidence, diminishing fear with every step. Each action we take provides us with evidence that we are capable, resilient, and more powerful than we initially believed. Over time, this repeated action creates a new habit where fear no longer paralyzes us. Over time, instead, we begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. Action doesn't mean but it weakens its grip and teaches us that we can handle whatever comes our way, making it the most effective antidote to the paralyzing force of fear. One of the most powerful ways to defeat fear is to first understand it fully. Fear, in its abstract form, can seem like an insurmountable force, a dark shadow that looms over us. But when we take the time to identify our specific fear, whether it's the fear of failure, rejection, the unknown, or even fear of success, it begins to lose its power. It thrives on ambiguity and the unknown. It feeds on our imagination, growing bigger and more overwhelming the longer we leave it undefined. By naming our fear, we take away its ability to control us. We shine light on it, and in doing so, we see that it is often not as formidable as we once believed. Identifying the specific fear allows us to examine it, challenge it, and understand where it comes from. Is it rooted in past experiences? Is it a belief we inherited from others? Is it a fear based on a past failure or a projection of future worry? Once we pinpoint the source, we can begin to unravel it. Instead of being overwhelmed by a nebulous sense of dread, we can break the fear down into manageable pieces, making it less threatening and easier to confront. When we know our enemy, we can strategize how to overcome it and take action accordingly. Fear loses its grip on us when we stop seeing it as a vague, omnipotent force and start seeing it for what it truly is, a challenge we are fully capable of overcoming. Faith and fear are opposing forces, and they cannot coexist in the same mind. The mind is a powerful force capable of shaping our experiences, and it can only focus on one dominant thought at a time. When fear enters the mind, it casts a shadow over everything, clouding judgment, distorting perceptions, and making even the simplest challenges seem insurmountable. Fear whispers what if, creating endless scenarios of failure and disaster that prevent us from taking action. But faith, on the other hand, is the belief that everything will work out, that we have the strength to overcome, and that success is within our reach. When we choose to focus on faith, it fuels our confidence, empowers our decisions, and replaces the paralyzing effects of fear with determination and courage. The moment we shift our attention toward faith in ourselves, in our abilities, and in the process we effectively push fear out of our minds. Faith is a mental choice, one that must be nurtured and strengthened. Hence, by constantly affirming our belief in our ability to succeed and envisioning the positive outcomes we desire, we crowd out fear and create a mental environment conducive to success. When faith dominates, fear has no room to grow, and we unlock the true power of our mind to create the reality we desire. The choice is simple. You can either dwell on what might go wrong, or you can focus on what will go right. Choose faith, and fear will lose its hold. Autosuggestion is a powerful tool that can reshape the way we think, especially when it comes to overcoming fear. At its core, autosuggestion involves the practice of consciously repeating affirmations or thoughts in order to influence the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is where our deepest beliefs and fears reside, and it governs much of our behavior and decision-making. When we constantly feed it negative or fearful thoughts, we reinforce the idea that we are powerless or destined for failure. However, through autosuggestion, we can reprogram our minds by consistently introducing positive, empowering thoughts, by repeating affirmations such as I am confident and capable, or I can handle any challenge. We begin to overwrite the fearful narratives that have been ingrained over time. The subconscious mind, unable to distinguish between what is real and what is imagined, starts to accept these affirmations as truth. Over time, this process rewires our mental landscape, transforming fear into self,